esports isn't. It's just not a thing in the U.S.
The only thing that esports, I think, keyword, I actually haven't tapped into a lot of tournaments lately, is the fighting game genre, whether it's a Storm 4. Granted, this year's Boruto Storm Connections is awful, so it's not going to do well. But the fighting games like Fighters was fantastic. That tournament was probably the best one I've remembered as of late. And things like Overwatch, but Overwatch is more EU anyway.
I would just say esports in terms of sports, I would say probably is a failure. I can't think of sporting esports that really succeed. Anytime I think esports, it's either fighting or some form of first person or arena shooter or MMO or something like that. It's just not sport games. So 2K doing it, for me, I was like, all right, I mean, this is very venturous, but in terms of Madden, in terms of esports for Madden, I didn't even know Madden had esports, but niggas was considering those high-level tournaments esports, and at that case, yeah, because that's essentially what they do for the gun games. This is a bunch of high-level tournaments where you're winning cash prizes. Same thing with the fighting games. So, yeah, that would be considered esports for Madden, but that never seemed popular. It just seemed like something niggas was doing, but people were more into the creators. I don't play FIFA, so I wouldn't have known about FIFA. MLB, I don't recall ever hearing about an MLB. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to sporting games, I think it's hard to have esports for that. But ain't nobody about to tell me that Call of Duty esports is failing. No one's going to tell me that. Yeah, like a lot of these gun games and MMOs and RP, all that other shit, ain't no way you're telling me they failing. If you want to say in America, cool, I guess, but they're doing just fine.
That's the thing in America. As far as I understand, those things are much bigger abroad and comparatively, because during that pandemic, a lot of people thought, oh, this was the shift. Esports was about to take off. That's when they started taking off some sporting events during the pandemic and a little bit after, and they were putting esports on ESPN, and ultimately, like, none of that shit really worked. Like, it didn't.
But can I say, is it fair to say that it's failing in the US just because it's not as big as it is in the EU? Because again, with these different esports companies or tournaments that we're talking about, if they're still doing good in the US, especially compared to the standards of the sporting ones or anything else, they're still doing good. They're just not doing as well as the EU. How is that a failure?
I don't think a lot of these, and it depends on what gaming orgs you're talking about. I think there's a lot of gaming orgs that aren't doing well.
Apparently, there's only 2 profitable ones. I heard that from Moist Critical. Okay. And one of them is 100 Thieves, and the only reason they're profitable is because they have a whole like lifestyle creator brand. They're not even making money off of the esports. Like, they have an esports team, but it's because of their partnership with like High Ground and all this other shit. So,
and I don't necessarily always go out for profitability as the measure.
Yeah, I don't.
But ultimately, they have reported. People have talked about. It's been conversated. Like, the reportings are out there. They're not doing good. I mean, FaZe is an example right here in front of our faces. Like Miso said, 100 Thieves, but the only thing that's saving 100 Thieves is a lifestyle component. Like, there's a lot of them. Now, I will say this too. They also don't have a huge overhead. So it's kind of strange about the profitability. But regardless, profitability isn't the only metric that I'm looking at to say that these niggas aren't successful.
I don't know, because I had to look it up, and if I'm looking to the left, I'm literally looking up what I looked up. But there's definitely some games that, and I felt away because I was like, there got to be some games that we're missing out on here. And for sure we are. Super Smash Brothers, for sure. Apex, that has to be in the top 3. Overwatch, like I mentioned earlier. Mortal Kombat. Fighters for the anime fans out there.
What are you saying?
Fortnite,
what are you saying about these games?
Just some of the very popular US esport events that have happened over the times, or like games that are very positively received in terms of competition. Apex may be dying now. I'm unsure with the current status of Apex, but I know in like 2021, 2022, Apex was the hot shit.
I'm pretty sure there's successful events in the US, like what you're mentioning right now. But it's like, I don't know if you've seen like any documentaries about like esports in South Korea, bro. Like, some of those like esports stars are literally treated like A-list celebrities.
Oh yeah, that ain't over here. Oh yeah. So if that's what we saying, oh yeah, nah.
The closest one would probably be like Ninja season 1.
That ain't happened since fuck closest. That ain't happened since Ninja in terms of a clear cut gamer Maybe you have some, again, for the anime community, they have their guys. I do think that there's some fighters people out there that be like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? But outside of that specific niche of American citizens who watch anime, in terms of the general scope, yeah, nah, I think the last big shot gamer is like a Ninja probably. And there's other popular guys, but it probably gotta be like Ninja.
And they're brought up in like a farm system over there. Like it's a total, mind you, people go back, fact check me. They were talking about esports replacing like regular sporting. Like people were going to, as the kids were going to look to esports. They were going to say, Mom, Dad, I don't want to do football. Like the little 5, 6, 7-year-olds, I don't want to do football. I want to get into esports. And they were going to say that in the US. And that was, in hindsight, that is so far-fetched. Like that was crazy to think.
But when that 13 and 15-year-old, I mean, niggas is saying Ninja, I disagree. That 13 and 15-year-old kid that came out years after Ninja that won the first, I don't know if it was the first Fortnite thing, but he definitely was the youngest kid to win the Fortnite Cup, whatever it was. Beluga, that nigga, he took the hell off at 15. I'm sorry, I'm not a Fortnite kid. Cat knew his name immediately. Beluga. He became a celebrity from from winning Fortnite tournaments at the age of 15, 16. If the argument is, the last.
Was he on Ellen? No, let me.
He probably was. But I'm just saying, in the case of the last big esports guy in America was Ninja. No,
I don't think there hasn't been another esports guy in America, to be very painfully clear.
Because it don't
I just think that, like, in terms of what B Souls is saying, I think it's just objectively been true. That like
a big person.
Beluga's a big person, but
I'm just saying because I couldn't remember his name. Beluga, whale boy, I don't care. But just because I couldn't remember color name don't mean what I'm saying not true. That's all I'm saying.
Nobody's invalidating what you're saying. What Sage is saying is it might have been Ninja, but that's more of a testament to the fact that even if there was somebody else, in the grand scheme of things, it was so irrelevant to the zeitgeist or to the masses that people weren't moving in the direction like they claimed they were going to move into. And the direction was, hey, we're going to start taking our kids from football, basketball, baseball, and we're going to invest into $5,000 and $10,000 PCs so they can be pro gamers. That was just never going to happen.
How many parents will need to do that for you to concede that point? Because there was a big shift in parents embracing gaming and having their kids take gaming more serious. And if you look at Fortnite, there was a shift in terms of how old pro players were considered. Nowadays, niggas are considered washed at 24 in terms of the pro scene, and that was not like that when Fortnite first went pro. And it was because parents was like, okay, let me get my kids into playing games professionally because this is an avenue. And it shifted within a couple of years, not even 5 years, and it shifted.
There would have to be stability in these gaming orgs, more stability in these gaming orgs from specifically a competitive gaming standpoint for me to think that there would be any real credibility to that. But honestly, these people don't even really attend events. And I know people aren't going to understand what I'm saying, but those people that you see at these esports events in the US, those are corporate ticket holders. Those are people where a company buys up 100 tickets and gives them out. Hey, do you want to come to this convention to see this tournament or whatever? And they'll scan the room. But 90% of them people did not buy tickets to that event. Those tickets were handed out because they were bought by a corporate entity. So until that happens, until esports is the events are being shopped around on SeatGeek and people are buying them and we have notable names and all that shit like that, orgs are really being able to stand on their own too, I don't see it. I just don't see it.
By the way, for clarity reasons, all I was going to say is that regardless of if it's Beluga, whoever, I think there is a vast difference in the amount of, as Biso was saying, the amount of celebrity gamers in other countries than it is in the US. I think that for sure is almost an indisputable argument that, like, if you're a big shot, I don't fucking know, Baldur's gamer, that's a bad game to pick. If you're a big shot, Fort gamer, and over there, you're like the celebrity for that. If you're a big shot, Apex gamer, you're a celebrity for that. But in America, I mean, you'll know some people who are dogs at it. You'll know some YouTubers, but Yeah,
They
for the
treat you
most
like an
part.
athlete. From my understanding in South
Yeah,
Korea.
yeah, like they dead ass treat
being
you
a
like
top-
your motherfucking Mahomes. They treat you like your motherfucking That's what I'm trying to get across, by the way.
Yeah, the next Paolo type shit. Valorant Paolo. Like
No cap. Video games as a whole would have to be viewed as cooler in America. I know we've definitely made some advancements in that regards. But I still don't think video games are
I
looked
don't
at.
think that's the issue. I think the issue is
I've seen videos of like 2K League players getting passionate on TikTok, and the comment section is like, "Look at these nerd asses trying to get hype over a 2K game." Like, if that's the cultural mindset we're at in the U.S. versus again like Asian countries when it comes to video games,
maybe
I get it. I mean, it's funny, but
that's our mindset with anything. Like,
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say that.
That's crazy.
I was going to say that, Damo, and whether that's Mickey or not, I was going to say that the way that American culture is kind of just like on some hating ass shit, regardless. So.
Do you think that again, two differences? If there was a 7-on-7 drill and a DB makes a stop and he gets hype, and I'm talking about the non-equipment football 7-on-7.
Right.
The DB gets hype in that situation, in the same situation that BSO's presented. You think that those are two different like reactions, right? We agree that those are two different reactions, right?
Between a DB and a 7-on-7 getting a stop and getting passionate about that versus what? Chris 2K getting hype about a 21 game win streak or whatever it is, like playing the game and him getting hype and passionate about it. Do I view those as different? No,
I'm saying, do you think the reaction,
how people
reaction? Oh, I mean, it depends. If again, I feel like you can still find a comment of somebody being like, "Oh, this all over throwing a ball." Like, you're gonna see that. Like, that's what
I'm talking about overwhelmingly though. Like, overwhelmingly on the 2K side, like a lot of it is, bro. Shut your fat ass up, bro. You getting hype over a 2K game? Go to the gym.
I 100% feel that, and I will concede and say, yeah, there would be a difference. There definitely is a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, like I said, you didn't say majority of the comments saying. You was just like, there was a comment under there saying that. And
but it was awesome. Like the top 3 had like 5,000 likes. Like maybe there weren't abundance, but damn, retweet.
adding that will create the difference. But like me and Sage was alluding to, it's hating that shit regardless. Like I said, you would probably have to scroll a little more. You would still find niggas, all this over a game with a ball. All this over putting a ball in a basket.
What we're saying is it's understood that we're of course talking about the majority, because that's why I said if majority of the people shifted their mindsets on video games, then maybe we would have a different conversation. But majority of people in America still view video games, I believe at least, as this
nerd ass shit.
Specifically, if you get passionate about video games to where you make it your life, like even it's still not even culturally acceptable. Again, if you said to a woman, yo, I go play pickup basketball or whatever the case may be, that's what I do for fun, you're gonna get better reception versus, yo, I'm a real gamer, like I game.
I'm a pro and Val player.
That's always gonna come down for America. And maybe this is one of the. Oh no! I'm not necessarily, because Damo was asking a question. I don't necessarily disagree with that standpoint. I would just ask, is using a sport unfair for it? But that's about it. I don't disagree with the idea that because anything physical, especially in America, anything physical is definitely going to get infinitely more respect than something virtual. It's just why I also believe that streaming is the most disrespected occupation. So like,
the reason why it's not is because ultimately we're trying to get to this level of esports replacing some esports replacing some sporting events, like some like sports in these conversations. So it would have to become as respectable as these sports. Hell, even if you told that woman, it don't necessarily have to be a physical sport. Yeah, I run track on the weekends is for fun, or I play tennis for fun. That's gonna come off so much better than I'm a real life baldergator. Like
baldergator. Man, chat, comment below. We gotta get the guys on the balders, man. Baldergator, all right, man.
They love it. Then it's all. Who the
you blow them off?
Serena Williams?
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, until you can't hang out because you about to go hoop on Saturday. Then it's this nigga thinks he's going to the NBA. Like,
mind you,
I feel what you're saying. I'm being.
I agree. The reception's still gonna be different. He want to be in the NBA so bad versus he a nerd.
Nah, it's night and day. I ain't arguing that. It's
gonna hit you.
Fucking loser.
I ain't arguing that.
Loser. He's gay. They definitely gonna hit you with that one. But whoa, this is crazy. Then all of a sudden they know who Sketch is. Like, all right, come on, gang.
Yeah, even with just streaming in general, you gotta like with hoop, with rap, anything like that. People are more accepting of an aspiring, trending person versus someone who is aspiring or trending as a gamer. The only argument that Damo and myself would really have in that specific regard is that a made it streamer, a made it gamer can get that kind of love. That's the only argument. But then like the I'm on the come up shit, hell no, you're cooked.
All right, man.
And even when you make it, before
Still
y'all
can
start
afford for
running
that shit, but I guess. Bro.
And even when you make it, I probably still say, yeah, you're easier to get by in most real interactions on the real life things. But I guess that's just the byproduct of design. And I would like to see how other cultures, comment below if you live in a different country. I would like to see how those interactions are in real life, because the only thing that I'll probably still stand by is that a real life interaction with the real life occupation is always going to hit more in real life than a virtual interaction than a virtual occupation, but the same discussion in real life. But virtual to virtual, I don't know.